Well, ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are here today to talk about Warzone and Black Ops 6 Season 2, an update that we obviously have been waiting on for some time. Season 1 just crawled by. It was one of the longer seasons and one of the more dreadful seasons that we've had for COD in recent memory, and so Season 2 is that bright spot on the horizon. We had a lot of anticipation going into this update because of various promotional posts talking about how they were focusing more on gameplay fixes, quality of life updates. There was going to be a significant anti-cheat update with Season 2. There was still going to be the usual content and stuff, at least on the multiplayer and on the zombie side. And lo and behold, Season 2 drops, and quite frankly, it's just yet another stack on top of an already very large pile of updates that is severely underwhelming. Like I said, there was a lot promised with Season 2. The general update across the board, specific stuff for multiplayer, specific stuff for Warzone. The update just didn't really seem to change all that much, which is not good considering the fact that this update was promoted in such a way that it was going to be very game-changing. Let's just talk about some of the significant problems or red flags with the Season 2 update, right? First up, as you may recall, there was a whole post about anti-cheat updates. Teep here, one of the best pros in the scene, right, ended up sort of recapping, in case you might have forgot, ended up recapping some of the updates that were mentioned for the Season 2 anti-cheat update. No, by the way, while that's going, I'll play his little video in the background there, but Season 2, there's going to be a new and improved client and server-side detection update, a major kernel-level driver update, improvements to driver security, reinforced encryption processes, new tampering and detection systems, all on paper promising updates for the anti-cheat, which has been struggling since day one, and especially here in Black Ops 6 and Warzone, right? So hearing that we're going to get kernel-level driver updates, that's great on paper. You know, that in theory should make it much harder to run into cheaters. New detection systems should make it much harder. They couldn't make it one game into Season 2 without a cheater. They end up dying to this guy, they spectate him, and he's hitting snipes that don't actually seem like they're landing on a player at all. Their first game of playing here. And he ended up getting banned because people reported him in game. Enough spam reports eventually got him kicked, right? Or however they decide the system, wants you to get kicked from the game or whatever the threshold is, right? So first game on. But in case you're like, oh, maybe that was just spectator desync, maybe the anti-cheat's not actually that broken already to start Season 2. Well, unfortunately, this was light work compared to the other clip that I just saw posted. Charlie Intel posted this one, and they said, Ricochet anti-cheat is working really well. What's that already before I start playing the video? Oh, is that the ice staff in Warzone from the new Tomb map in Zombies? You can probably expect how this is gonna go. Yep, that's just not supposed to be a thing. You think that the new kernel level driver updates and detection systems would realize that, wait a second, are we getting player data from someone in Warzone getting kills with the ice staff? That should be an instantaneous red flag. And yet, this person, probably got banned because I'm sure everyone in this lobby reported them. But how does this make it through? You just gave us this whole rundown and hyped it up. Oh, major Season 2 anti-cheat update coming. And it's already been broken. It's already been, busted through by cheaters. And you're never going to fully stop cheaters. We all know this is a reality. They could have the greatest anti-cheat in the world. Someone is still going to figure out a way to get some cheats into the game, but it probably wouldn't be as many as we see here in Warzone every single season, after every single update, after every single anti-cheat update. So one of the main promising components of Season 2 in this new anti-cheat update already seemingly has fallen short. Now, luckily, if you care about ranked play, you can go to console and you can do console only ranked play. And that's going to be a nice way to sort of avoid cheaters, at least for that. But that's a band-aid fix, as I mentioned before. That wouldn't even have to be a thing if you just had a good and working and functioning anti-cheat. And unfortunately, Ricochet falls very short of that. Another thing that's incredibly underwhelming with Season 2 is the fact that we can go through, and I'll just keep scrolling as I'm yapping here. We have all of these different updates and all of these different patch notes listed, right? Varying from gameplay updates to ranked updates to all sorts of stuff here. New content, new quality of life things, changing various different details in the game. Not a single thing here, though, addresses the other major issue of Call of Duty right now, coinciding with the broken anti-cheat, the broken servers. Nothing really was updated here. We didn't even get the various stability fixes patch note this time, which we couldn't even make fun of it for once, right? The server updates, while I was playing yesterday, I played a ton, leveled up all the 3 new weapons, played a ton of Warzone. There was still significant server issues, crazy packet loss and packet burst where you're stuttering and hitching. It's situations where the Warzone server almost just like completely freezes for, like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and no one can play, and you might lag out of the game entirely. Of all these patch notes that I just scrolled through for however long that was, nothing mentioned about any significant server updates. So while yes, you might have seen some changes here and some changes there, and maybe this got fixed but probably broke 3 other things, the servers didn't really get any priority here. There was no attention there, face value. Maybe they changed things in the back end. I don't know why they wouldn't say that if they did, because we're sitting here pretty much just begging for any kind of communication in regards to the servers and any potential updates there, and yet that was completely foregone here. With season 2, nothing of the sort was mentioned, which is incredibly disappointing. Now, on top of that, of those patch notes that we just showed, several of them straight up just are not accurate. They did not fix what they said they did with those patch notes. We got this whole description basically about how bunny hopping was going to be returning and that movement was going to be back. And Polscheck ended up posting this clip from Ebates here, testing it in game. And he's spamming the jump button, trying to hit it consistently and consecutively. And it's not going. That's not bunny hopping. They made it seem like it was going to be similar to how it was in MW3, or, based on the description you hear bunny hopping, you probably immediately resort back to the good old days of MW 2019. Not even close. It still feels like you got cement shoes on, right? And then also they mentioned how various things were fixed for the different revive bugs in the game where you can't revive a teammate. Well, you can reload your gun, but you couldn't revive your teammate there. Issues for some time, like well beyond just the past few weeks or something. Like this has been a bug, not being able to revive your teammates since the first day of Warzone. I remember actually getting stuck just underneath one of the Nuketown houses over on the side of the map here and not being able to get revived the first day of the game. Still an issue persisting, despite the fact that it's been mentioned in patch notes multiple times, including most recently in the season 2 patch notes. So a ton of those were not accurate or correct, which is disappointing to see. You also have various other elements of gameplay that just straight up don't work. Mountaineer currently, I think, is being investigated according to COD updates, but it just doesn't seem like there was any testing done for this to not function like it does. You can equip Mountaineer on Warzone now, although sometimes it bugs out and doesn't even act like it's a perk. But if you jump into the game, you don't get Mountaineer, and it jumbles up the rest of your perks and changes all of them at random, like it's a default perk package. So that doesn't work. Was this tested? Because it was hyped up multiple weeks in advance. Hey, Mountaineer is going to be returning. We're going to have, better fall damage stuff. Dexterity is moving over to a default perk. And then this major replacement right off the bat doesn't work. Marksman posting an issue that so many people ran into yesterday. Failed to join your friend's party because you're on a different version. Although everyone's fully up to date, everyone does a restart. There's no update requires restart or anything. You try and join up, failed to join party. You're on a different version. No, we're not. So the party and matchmaking system completely busted. Now you could get around it. Eventually it would work, but you shouldn't have to try again and do up, down, A, B, X, Y, put in a whole GTA cheat code just to get into a friend's party. Again, something that just probably should not be happening, especially given the fact that this update was so heavily focused on fixes. This community blog post from Call of Duty that was posted a few weeks back prior to season 2 launching, one of these significant chunks of the Warzone section says, let's talk about Warzone. We made the decision to prioritize to focus on gameplay tuning, more quality of life, and addressing bugs. That means we are actually shifting originally planned content for season 2 to create more bandwidth just to focus on issues. So this update, especially why there were so many expectations for this fixing a lot of the game, was because they straight up came out and said, hey, there's not going to be as much content, at least for Warzone this season. We're going to push that back. We're just going to focus on fixes. But the game doesn't feel fixed, right? Some things work better than they did, 2 days ago when we were still in season 1. So many other things, though, don't seem accurate from the patch notes. New bugs and glitches have arisen like they do in every single update. Yet, they also say at the very end of this, however, that because of everything going on with the Black Ops 6 Warzone integration and the update there, it was their first time fully being on the same page together and developing everything on a unified environment, so that while it was super buggy at first, it would pave the way for more ambitious and closer collaborations in the future. It's hard to take them at their word here, though, saying, hey, our future updates are going to be bigger, more smoother, more ambitious, when the first update after the fact, they can't get right either. There was all this talk of all this stuff happening, less content so we can focus more on fixes, and yet the game plays the same as it did just a couple of days ago in a lot of areas. Similar bugs still persist, similar issues still persist. The lack of weapon balancing was super underwhelming. Season 2 doesn't really feel like it was a game-changing update, which is a problem. Now, I can say, at least, some silver lining here, some positivity here. The game isn't insanely broken, or at least more broken than it was during Season 1, but it's not that much better. And that's an issue considering all this talk of we understand how bad the state of the game is right now. We know we messed up with the anti-cheat. We're working to fix that. We're going to do more fixes and less content. And quite frankly, playing Warzone, yeah, I got a couple of new guns. So the gameplay at least feels a little fresh there. I can level up some new guns. I can play on some new maps in multiplayer. But from Season 1, super broken, super underwhelming, disaster season, into Season 2, it doesn't feel like that much has changed, which should not be the case. It just seems like it's a mess right now. Now, I'm sure over the coming days and weeks, we're going to see a lot more consistent COD updates posts. Later today, we're probably going to be talking about several changes that have already been implemented that we didn't directly mention in just this video. And I imagine that's going to be a similar case for the next couple of days and weeks as well, with them posting minor hot fixes there. Definitely hoping for some more tuning and changes in Warzone as well, but their value of it here just does not seem to be able to rise at all. It's either plateauing or it's maybe even dwindling now, considering we got all this talk and so little seems noticeable in game. Incredibly disappointing. Absolute letdown of an update here, especially when it comes to the anti-cheat, especially when it comes to the quality of gameplay. It just sucks that it's miss after miss after miss, because we all want the game to be good. I don't know about you guys, but one, I love Call of Duty. That's why this is my job, and I actively am so committed to, posting about this game, because I do genuinely enjoy Call of Duty. I'm a Call of Duty fan. But me, like you guys, I would imagine, we want COD to be good. And so when we get all this attention of, hey, we're working to make the game better, we have this set up so that it will be better, and then it just doesn't follow through, it just sucks. Straight up. There's not really a different way to put that. But that being said, that is going to wrap things up for this video. If you enjoyed it, despite the rather somber tone to it, a like rating is seriously appreciated. It truly does help the channel grow, and share the video around to new viewers. If you happen to be one of those new viewers, or perhaps you have not subscribed yet, every day, this is the place to be to stay up to date with everything going on in COD. So when we do actually see more significant fixes and updates, or other things are announced, whether it's meta breakdowns, new news, stuff like that, this is the place to stay up to date. So feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.